ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So I welcome all our devotees for participating in this session. My holy name, I assume that you are there. Only assuming that you are there, whatever it is. One good thing is at least I am reading for myself. So we are discussing 5th canto, 1st chapter, text number 35. The whole background is that it describes about Priyavrat Maharaj. And Priyavrat Maharaj was a pure devotee, and he was practicing as a brahmachari under Naradji. And he is the younger brother of Maharaj Uttanpad, who is the father of Dhruv Maharaj. So it so happened that there was no ruler all over the world. So Brahmaji himself, Manu Maharaj, comes and requests Priyavrat to take kingdom. And then he was very reluctant to take, and then Brahmaji comes, and then again he, in the request of both of them, he accepts the kingdom. And while he was ruling, he had such a prowess, he did not like that people had to be in darkness in the night. So he created own sun. But that sun was not giving heat, or in the sense giving torture, or not torture, but making people feel heat. But it was giving light. So, and that was coming from his chariot as he was moving. So this is very astonishing. How can a person create sun? How can a human being create sun, so to speak? So if a person has some doubts over the prowess which a devotee can attain by surrendering to Krishna, Srila Shukdev Goswami is speaking this shloka. Are you able to follow the theme? If somebody has a doubt, how Priyavrat Maharaj could create a sun, a new sun, S-U-N, sun, then in order to dissipate that doubt, he speaks a most wonderful shloka which glorifies the Lord and His holy name. So it goes like this. You can chant? No? Okay, so I'll chant by myself. नैवं विधा पुरुषकार उरुक्रमस्य पुंसां तदङ्घ्रिरजसा जित षड्गुणानां चित्रं विदूर विगतः सकृदाददीत यन्नामधेय मधुना सजहाति बन्धम्. So, translation. My dear king, this is Shukdev Goswami speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, a devotee who has taken shelter of the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord can transcend the influence of the 6 material waves, namely hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age and death. And he can conquer the mind and 5 senses. There are 2 sets of 6 material waves. One set is hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age and death, 6. And the other one, the Shadgunas are, not Shadgunas, the word is here, Shadguna. Shadguna means 6 qualities. The other 6 set of qualities is the mind and the 5 senses. However, this is not very wonderful for a pure devotee of the Lord, because even a person beyond the jurisdiction of the 4 castes, in other words, an untouchable, is immediately relieved of bondage to material existence if he utters the holy name of the Lord even once. So, we will see the Sanskrit now. Naivam, na evam vidha, purushakar, urukramasya pumsam. Pick up this word, urukramasya pumsam. A person, pumsam has been translated by Srila Prabhupada as of the devotees. And urukramasya means the Supreme Lord who has a very large kram. He takes very large steps, and it is referring to Vamandev. So the Sanskrit will be understood like this. Urukramasya pumsam evam vidha purushakar na vichitra. It's not wonderful for a devotee of Urukram. Urukramasya pumsam. For a devotee of Urukram, the Supreme Lord who does magnificent activities, a devotee of Lord Vishnu, for him, evam vidha purushakar. Purushakar means personal influence, special tej, special qualities. This kind of special qualities which Priyavrat Maharaj has shown is not very chitram, is not very strange, is not chitra means very wondrous. Not very wondrous means to create a sun, sun, S-U-N, not S-O-N. To create a new sun is not wonderful. He is saying not wonderful. It is not wonderful for a person who is a devotee of Krishna, Urukrama. Word is Urukrama, who does magnificent activities, to do such, to create sun, to activity like this. Evam vidha. But what kind of devotee? Tad angri rajasa jitashad gunanam. Tad here refers to Urukram, Krishna. And angri is his lotus feet, and rajasa means the dust from his lotus feet. So somebody, by surrendering to the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna, has conquered over Shad Gunas. Shad Guna means those we have read this, hunger, lamentation. So there are two sets. What we have read? Hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age and death. This one set. Other set is mind and the five senses. So what we are learning, by surrendering to the lotus feet of Krishna, by doing bhakti, a person actually conquers these six urges. And by that he becomes extremely powerful. So for him to do anything is not wondrous. Anything he can do. To explain it, he said, so na chitram, this is not wonderful. Why? He says, vidur vigata, vidur. Dur means far away. And vidur means very far away. From vigataha, who was gataha means gone, and vigataha means nicely gone away. Somebody who was very nicely gone away, far from the varnashram, that means a chandal, untouchable. Are you able to follow this? And that person also sakrada adadita. He only chants once. What does he chant? Krishna. Little Krishna, what does he chant? Krishna. Krishna, Mukund, Madhav, Raghav, anyone. Any of the names of Krishna. What does he chant? One time you are saying, Yan Namadheyam. Whose name, that means Lord Vishnu's name, whose name even once somebody chants, then Adhuna, immediately, on the same time, Sajahati Bandham. He not only becomes free from sins, he becomes free from karmic bondage also. So my dear devotees who are hearing on Zoom, maybe you can nod your head. For nodding your head, you have to have your video on. If in case you want to nod, have the facility of nodding your heads. And if you are sleeping in the bed and hearing the katha, then you don't switch on your video. So can you understand the shloka? Say yes or no. First line is na chit evam vidha purushakar urukramasya. Such type of personal influence by urukramasya pumsam, by the devotee, by the person of Urukram, by Vishnu, is na chitram. Are you able to see the word chitram and na? It's not special. Why? Tad angri rajasa jitashad gunanam. Because by taking shelter of his lotus feet, they conquer The 6 waves, they become extremely powerful. What to talk of this? Vidur Vigataha, a person who has not beyond, who's outside Varnashram, even once the chants the name of Krishna, then Yannamadheyam, he chants Sakridadadita Yannamadheyam. One who chants the name of Krishna even once, Adhuna, immediately Sajahati Bandham, he becomes free from karmic bondage. Now you may say, if a person is free from karmic bondage, how is body surviving? And we have chanted so many times how we are living. We should have gone back to Godhead immediately. Those questions will be answered now by Prabhupada's purport. This is all very mysterious. Nahin? Say Krishna. Bolo, Krishna bolo. Krishna boliye. Krishna, Krishna. Ram nahi bol sakte. Boliye Ram. Ram. And you see, nothing happened. Say Ram. How bol you are? Ram. Krishna. Please chant Krishna. Kuch hua? And we are not chandals. So we'll read now. We'll get the answer. Purport. Shukadev Goswami was speaking to Maharaj Parikshit about the activities of King Priyavrata. And since the king might have had doubts about these wonderful uncommon activities, Shukadev Goswami reassured him. My dear king, he said, don't be doubtful about the wonderful activities of Priyavrata. For a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is possible because the Lord is also known as Urukrama. Urukrama is a name for Lord Vamandev, who performed the wonderful act of occupying the 3 worlds with 3 footsteps. How big one footstep will be? Kilometers? Quite interesting. We never thought about it. How many kilometers will be one footstep? Any answer from any engineer, doctors here? Okay, no answer. So you can get it, how difficult it is. One loka? No, my dear devotee. There are many, many lokas. So it was only one loka, then he would have covered only one loka. Okay. So the Lord has done very wonderful activities, and that's why it's not Madhavasya. The word is not used here as Madhavasya, Vishnu, Vishnoho, or any other name of Krishna. Especially the word is Urukramasya, so as to remind us of the special activity Lord did in the incarnation of Vamandev by conquering over the 3 worlds, or covering the 3 worlds in basically 2 steps, not even 3 steps. Do you agree? He has covered everything in 2 steps, and third he placed on Bali Maharaj's head. So, Lord Vamandev requested 3 pieces of land from Maharaj Bali, and when Maharaj Bali agreed to grant them, the Lord immediately covered the entire world with 2 steps, and for his 3rd step he placed his foot upon Bali Maharaj's head. Shri Jayadev Goswami says, Chala yasi vikramane Bali madbhutavaman padanakha nira janita janapavan Keshavadhrita Vamana Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare. All glories to Lord Keshav, who assumed the form of a dwarf. O Lord of the universe, who takes away everything inauspicious for the devotees, Hare. O wonderful Vamandev, you tricked the great demon Bali Maharaj by your steps. The water that touched the nails of your lotus feet when you pierced through the coverings of the universe purifies all living entities in the form of the river Ganges. Have you ever thought about it? Put our feet in water of bucket and then see who values that water. Nobody. And the 3 worlds are honoring the water which washed the lotus feet of Krishna, which washed, not washes. Washed, not washes. Got it? We have read it in the first canto. Lord Vaman Dev's feet is not being washed now. It happened once and still Gangaji is purifying. Anyhow, Gangaji himself is pure. Since the Supreme Lord is all powerful, He can do things that seem wonderful for a common man. It's very easy to understand. Similarly, a devotee who has taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord can also do wonderful things unimaginable to a common man by the grace of the dust of those lotus feet. Now this has to be understood. The Lord Himself does wonderful things, and it's so wonderful that He feels very happy by empowering His devotees to do more wonderful things than Him sometimes. Okay? That itself also is wondrous. And why any father likes to like his son to be more than him, although nobody can be more than Krishna, but Krishna is very happy to give credit to his devotees. And if somebody has read Bhagvatam first canto, we have read how Arjuna is remembering when Yudhishthira Maharaj asked him why you are lamenting when he returns from Dwarka, and he remembers that whatever special thing he could do was only by the grace of the Supreme Lord, even winning over demigods, even fighting and winning over Lord Shiva. So you will see in your own life, as you keep on chanting Hare Krishna, you are able to do things which you could not yourself imagine doing also. Very, very important siksha which you are learning from here is, the more we take shelter of Krishna or the process of bhakti, the more we become empowered by Krishna. This is a very nice takeaway point from here. Second point is that although it is very difficult to conquer our mind and senses, but you can conquer over them by process of taking shelter of Krishna. Very clearly mentioned here in this shloka or not? Pumsam tadangri rajasa jitashad gunanam. We have seen how Parishit Maharaj has conquered over hunger, thirst and everything simply by taking shelter of Krishna. This is a very important point you have learning from this shloka. Apart from the fact that we are also hearing the glories of Krishna. So for real empowerment, we have to take shelter of Krishna, and that's what Prabhupada says. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore teaches us to take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. Ainandatanuja kinkaram patitamam vishame bhavam budhau kripaya tava pad pankaja stita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. So the idea is, why Srila Prabhupada is quoting this? We do not have any capacity to control our mind and senses and all those things, or control over hunger and thirst and other things. We do have a capacity to take shelter of Krishna, and by Krishna's grace, all of them will be conquered. That's why Prabhupada is quoting this shloka. Is it clear? Go ahead. O son of Nanda Maharaj, I am your eternal servant. Yet somehow or other, I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. Lord Chaitanya teaches us to come in touch with the dust of the Lord's lotus feet, and for then there will undoubtedly be all success. Are you able to pick up this point? Lord Chaitanya is teaching us to not fight Maya really, but to take shelter of Krishna, and Krishna's mercy, everything will be done. Okay. Then Prabhupada is explaining what is the Shad Gunas. Shad means 6. And Guna means qualities. What are the 6 qualities? Because of the material body, every living entity in material existence is always disturbed by Shad Gunas, 6 waves. Please raise your hands if in one of the Gunas you are not affected. Let's see. Hunger. Okay. I think I am giving you sufficient time to raise hands. You can put your finger on raising hands. Hunger we get affected. Thirst we get affected. Lamentation. Gopinath Swain Prabhu has raised hand. So are you not affected by hunger or thirst? I think you must be a Paramahansa. Maybe. I am not. I am drinking water, I think 4 or 5 times during 2-3 hours class. Lamentation, illusion, invalidity and death. We are all succumbing to it. Any conditioned soul will be succumbing to that. Is nothing special. Furthermore, another Shad Guna are the mind and 5 sense organs. I think all of us have their minds very much controlled, is it not? No? Senses? Okay. Well, you are all humble devotees, so even if you have controlled your mind and senses, you will only say, oh, I am the servant of the senses only. I can understand. Not to speak of a sanctified devotee, even a Chandal, an outcast who is untouchable. Why he is untouchable? Because he eats flesh of a dog. Is immediately freed from material bondage if he utters the holy name of the Lord even once. See, now, even after being repeatedly reminded, we speak strange. You are chanting, but your mind is not there. What is the value? Now, in this shloka, is there mentioned that your mind is somewhere else and you will not get the benefit? Where does Prabhupada say here? I am not saying that one should chant inattentively, but not that one should think when my mind will absolutely be absorbed, then I will chant. We must remember the disease of the mind is instability. And to cure the disease, we are chanting the mantra. Not that when we get cured, then we take the mantra. Is it clear? So fix the tongue, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In that way the mind is engaged. After billions of time telling also, still many people will keep on saying this, your mind is not there, what is the value of that chanting? See the value of the chanting. And what was the comment by one devotee today? That somebody started chanting 1 round. Kuch to bhakti kari usne. He did some bhakti. Who was that? Somebody said that about some devotee. At least I chanted 1 round. It's not kuch to, it's a lot. It's a lot. 1 round chanting is also a lot. See, once chanting is so much beneficial. So what to talk of 1 round chanting? A devotee should have this faith. 1 round chanting is also a lot. So you mean to say I only chant 1 round? If 1 round is a lot, then 2 round is how much? And 4 is how much? So it is not an ordinary thing that you are picking up your beads and chanting Hare Krishna. Not an ordinary thing. Sometimes caste Brahmanas argue that unless one changes his body, he cannot be accepted as a Brahmana. For since the present body is obtained as a result of past actions, one who has in the past acted as a Brahmana takes birth in a Brahmana family. Therefore, they contend without such a Brahmanical body, one cannot be accepted as a Brahmana. Herein it is said, however, that even a Vidura Vigata, a Chandala, a 5th class untouchable is freed if he utters the holy name even once. Being freed means that he immediately changes his body. Okay, that's very encouraging. Please chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, can you all switch on your video for one minute? Let me see if there is change of body. Oh, you look the same. Oh, everyone is looking the same only. Okay, let's try one more time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, now again. Hey, you look the same only. No change. Maybe it doesn't work with 2 times. One more time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. You people are telling lies. Kuch bhi nahi hua. You look the same. You are saying, Prabhuji, you look the same also. You don't look different. Your tilak is same, your intelligence is same, everything is same. How can you say your body is changing? We don't believe this. BBT should correct this. I think it's wrong. Being freed means that he immediately changes his body. हमारा तो कोई शरीर चेंज नहीं हुआ. Our body is not changing. We are looking same. See? So this doubt will be clarified. Sanatan Goswami confirms this. Yatha kanchana tam yati kansyam rasa vidhanatah tatha viksha vidhanena dvijatvam jayate nirnam. When a person, even though a chandal, is initiated by a pure devotee into chanting the holy name of the Lord, his body changes as he follows the instruction of the spiritual master. That means the purification has immediately begun. Immediately. Now please hear, it doesn't only refers to the day when a person is formally initiated, but the day he comes in contact in the parampara through Vartama Pradarshak Guru, that means a person who shows the path, or Siksha Guru. That day itself he is initiated. As soon as he accepts the teachings of the parampara, he is initiated. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am his eternal servant. Like that. This is the whole crux of initiation. Divyam Jnanam Dadati iti Diksha. When transcendental knowledge is given, that is called Diksha. Obviously, that is formalized at the time of initiation also. But it's not that only when you got formally initiated that you were actually initiated. One time, what is her name? Malati Mataji asked Srila Prabhupada, can you initiate my daughter? And Prabhupada said, she is already initiated. So now you got the point? See. Although one cannot see how his body has changed, no, I have not sufficiently explained this. Again read this. His body changes as he follows the instruction of the spiritual master. I give an example. Just like if you eat something, and suppose you have 1,800 grams of ghee today, you won't see immediate effect. But 100 grams, 100 grams, 100 grams, 100 grams, after some time, lot of grams will be added to your body, is it not? I am seeing it practically. Many devotees are saying that I look thinner. Maybe, I don't know. I am just eating routine diet. I have just given up ghee in chapati and my dal. And without my noticing, I am losing some weight. I was not very thin, but just some weight. So you understand, every time I don't take ghee, there is some change. Even though on a daily basis I cannot experience it. So what I am trying to say is, every time you chant Hare Krishna, there is purification. The holy name never goes in vain. Are you able to understand? And what is the change? A person becomes inclined to devotional service of the Lord more and more and more and more. So one lesson is, if you find chanting is difficult, chant more. Got it? You have a disease, we have a disease, we chant more, and by chanting more and more and more, we get more purified and we like to chant. I love this line. His body changes as he follows the instruction of the spiritual master, subtle and as well as gross. You will see how people look different also. Obviously they change their hairstyle also, but they look different. Their face becomes shiny and everything, just because they practice bhakti. Even the gross body changes. Their expression on the face will change. How they look, how they behave. You will really laugh at this. I went to Jhansi one time. And we stayed in one Grihastha devotee's home for 3 days. And he is such a humble person, very humble person. Prabhuji were like this. And after 3rd day, he told that he was a very notorious Gunda of Jhansi. And I said, Prabhuji, you can be Gunda. Yes, Prabhuji, I was a Gunda. Gunda, notorious Gunda. He will beat up anyone and will drink and all these things. But somehow that he came in contact with devotees, started chanting Hare Krishna. And if you meet him now, you will not believe. You will say that he's telling lies. How can he be a gunda? His whole persona has changed. Persona, you understand how a person looks, how he behaves. Very amazing, astounding actually. So this actually works. Even I think many of the devotees must have experienced how their dressing sense have changed. Is it not? Yes. And it's not by force. Your own inclinations to wear certain things have changed. This shows purification. This shows increase of goodness. I'm kind of appreciating this point. I'm not that making a comment. And sometimes you would laugh also. How could I wear goggles and all this thing? How could I was so stupid? How stupid I was looking. So what I'm trying to say, people's subtle body changes. And it is also manifest in their gross body when they chant Hare Krishna. Although one cannot see how his body has changed, we must accept on the grounds of the authoritative statements of the Shastra that he changes his body. That is to be understood without arguments. Now this is a very important point. We are stupids. I am not saying you, I am saying we. We all are stupids. Stupids because we are in the material world anyhow. But we are foolish people who don't know who we are. So one should never say, I don't understand, I don't think, who are you, who am I? We don't know who ourselves. So we must accept what is explained in the Shastra. Something we don't understand, we listen to our parents. Is it not as a kid? Papa, what is this? This is this. Okay, I said, take it. Well, Papa, what is this? Yes, yes. We don't argue. The Shastra speaks as it is what is truth. Truth does not expect us to substantiate the truth. The truth is truth. Truth has authority. Make sense? So we must accept on the version of Shastra that even if with my eyes I cannot see change of the body immediately, the body has changed. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, by the inconceivable potency of the name, the body exists. The karmas have got destroyed, but the holy name sustains the body of the devotee. You can read it. The commentaries are there. I don't have that much of time to read everything, but that he says. By the inconceivable potency of the Lord, the body of that person is still continues, although it is not by karma. This has to be understood without arguments. This verse clearly says, Sa jahati bandham. Jahati means he gives up. So he gives up his material bondage. The body is a symbolic representation of material bondage according to one's karma. All of us have a particular kind of nose or ears or mind because of our previous karma. That's why it says symbolic representative. Although sometimes we cannot see the gross body changing, chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord immediately changes the subtle body, and because the subtle body changes, the living entity is immediately freed from material bondage. So this has to be, I'll read it then I'll explain. After all, changes of the gross body are conducted by the subtle body. After the destruction of the gross body, the subtle body takes the living entity from his present gross body to another. In the subtle body, the mind is predominant, and therefore, if one's mind is always absorbed in remembering the activities or the lotus feet of the Lord, he is to be understood to have already changed his present body and become purified. Therefore, it is irrefutable that a Chandala or any fallen or low-born person can become a Brahmana simply by the method of bona fide initiation. Try to understand this point. The mantra changes your mana or mind every time it is chanted. Let us chant one time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Did you feel some change in the mind? Well, not yet. You may say, I have not felt any change in the mind. But something has changed. Your mind or our mind is not the same after chanting every syllable of the Hare Krishna mantra. Srila Jiva Goswami explains in 1.7.9 that every name of Krishna is a mantra which turns the living entity towards Krishna. Now, I will give an example. Suppose if you have a gear mechanism by which something is like this direction, and by that gear mechanism, slowly the dial changes and turns from west to east. So every time you make a, how to say, spin or whatever, spin the wheel, the gears are moving and that dial is changing a little bit towards the east. Got it? Even now, can you measure how the hairs are growing? So what do we know? It doesn't mean the hairs are not growing. Even now the food is getting digested. All these things we are not measuring. So this is a very, very important point. Immediately he becomes free from karmic bondage and he moves towards liberation. I give another example. A person is going in the west on the path, and suppose he turns. Still he is away from the point of east, but he is now moving towards the east. So as soon as a person chants Hare Krishna, all his sins are destroyed and he begins to turn towards Krishna and go towards Krishna as he keeps on chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And that's why this is a very simple preaching strategy. Somehow or other you make people chant Hare Krishna at least on a regular basis, 1 round, 2 rounds, and suddenly you will see they become more and more inclined to do some more and more service. Again, they want to hear about Krishna, they want to do some service. You will see that happening. It is bound to happen. Why? Because their mind is changing. Now Prabhupada is saying, because the mind is changing, and as per the state of the mind in the previous life, one will get a next gross body. Similarly, because the mind has changed, the mind has become purified, and if it is absorbed in Krishna, a person will go and get a spiritual body and go back to Godhead. So I think every devotee has understood how the karmic bondage also gets destroyed by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Now, somebody can raise an argument, if it is mentioned here only once, why should we chant more? So we must understand from Kamutyanai, if chanting once is so much beneficial, then what can be the achievement if we chant more and more and more? Basically, we are not chanting Hare Krishna to destroy karmic bondage. We are chanting to get love of God. Hear very carefully. Purification is immediate. Love of God takes time. Purification is immediate. And love of God takes time. Sinking in. Sadhya punati. Sadhya means immediately. Immediately purification begins, but love of God will take time, but not infinite time. So, one point I would also like to say, if such intense, takes few points and connect them together. If my heart becomes purified, love of God is already there. Yes. So, and love of God is my ultimate goal. Yes. So basically I have to purify my heart. Yes. So I must select something which purifies my heart most. Yes. And that is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if a person somehow there once chants, that means he is not chanting with any plan. Somehow there is chanted, hey Haram, or something. Rama butter. Can you give me Rama butter? I'm going to Hare Airport. Hare Airport. There's a Hare Airport in, it's actually here, but we can also say H-A-R-E, Hare Airport. What is cooked in breakfast? Rajma. Halim Riktam. So in any way that is chanted, it purifies. Okay. Now, I knew this answer question will come. If purification is immediate, then why love of God will take time? Because that's how the Lord reserves it. Yad. I'm forgetting the shloka. His Lord himself says, Mat punya gatha shravanabhidhanai tatha tatha pasyati vastu sukshma chakshuryathavanjasam priyuktam yatha yathatma parimrijyate sau mat punya gatha shravanabhidhanai tatha tatha pasyati vastu sukshmat Chakshuryathavanjasasam prayuktam. Yatha yathatma parimrajyata asau atma. This atma, to the degree it becomes parimrajyate, becomes purified. How? Matpunya gatha shravanabhidhana. He becomes purified by my hearing and chanting. Tatha tatha pashyati vastu sukshmad. To that degree he tastes the sweetness. Chakshur yathaivanjasasam prayuktam. Just like eyes, the vision is restored by the application of ointment. Are you able to follow this? The Lord himself says that the pure devotional service gradually develops in the heart of the living entity. Same thing Brahma Ji explains in Brahma Samhita, last shloka you can read. That pure devotional service is found, you can check Brahma Samhita, it is there. It says pure devotional is attained by dharmic conduct. Just give me a second, I'll show you the exact shloka. Last shloka is there. This last means last ones. Yes, 5.59. The highest devotion is attained by slow degrees. 5.59, you please make a note. Brahma Samhita, 59th shloka. The highest devotion, chapter 5, 59th shloka. The highest devotion is attained by slow degrees, by the method of constant endeavor for self-realization with the help of scriptural evidence, theistic conduct and perseverance in practice. So you understand what are the few points? Highest bhakti, pure devotional service attained by slow degrees. Is the nature is that it grows slowly. One point, by constant endeavor for self-realization, not that we take any one day break. Then that endeavor has to be guided by Shastra. Just like, see, we are hearing Shastra. What is Shastra's evidence? What does Shastra says? What is the proof? Shastra is the proof. Bhagavatam is the proof. Then theistic conduct. One should follow dharma, not do anything which is against dharma, and perseverance in practice. You keep on persevering, not 1 day, 2 days, till the time we become perfect. Bhakti, we don't give up the process. After that, you can give up, no. After you get love of God, you cannot. Anyhow, you are not going to give up. Okay? So the purification is immediate. If you apply the medicine, the effect is immediate. Yes or no? Can't you nod your heads? Prabhuji, we are too tired to nod our heads. As soon as you take the medicine, the effect is immediately there. But our cure takes some time. Yes or no? Then another angle is there. Krishna does not want his devotees to think that Krishna is cheap. So to increase utkantha, eagerness in the heart of the devotee, he purposefully does not manifest himself immediately. There is answer to your question. Okay. Someone was saying that we should do charity work for poor and needy. By this way, Lord will be pleased. Sitting and taking names of God is foolishness. So that is not the subject of our discussion here, but I'll tell you a story to answer this question. One time Duryodhana asked Krishna, why are you favoring Arjuna too much? I am also your relative. Why are you favoring Arjuna only? Krishna said, okay. Then Krishna took Duryodhana and Arjuna was sleeping. And from every pore of Arjuna's body, Krishna, 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 Krishna is meant. Krishna himself says in one, I think Adi Puran, anyone who has chanted my name, anytime in any way, I cannot forget his name. 6.2.9-10, even if a person is most sinful, if somehow chant is Narayan, Krishna, Vishnu, Mukund, any name, Krishna's mind is on that person that he belongs to me and it's my duty to protect him. Where is any evidence that by doing any other charity, that Lord has this kind of inclination toward that person? Agni Puran very clearly says, Nad nam sam tapaha, na nam sam yagyaha, na nam sam vrataha, na nam sam dan. As per chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, equal to chanting Hare Krishna, there is no charity, there is no vrata, vow, there is no austerity, and there is no charity, yajna, there is no sacrifice. So God himself is saying, I hope that person is not God whom is telling you. Taking the names of God is foolishness. To achieve love of Lord will be considered very easy then. He also wants us to do some purushart to attain him. Yes, okay. So I think you got some idea. Thank you all for joining. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shrimad Bhagvatam ki jai, Bhagwan Krishna ke param naam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.